Ganito, no? Ako I'm in favor of the extension. Because, first and foremost, the rehab operations na. Alam mo doon sa Afghanistan na nila, kung nililihab nila yung mga areas na pinasukan ng mga Islamist military. Talagang under harassment, constant harassment yung pag-rebuild at reconstruct ng mga areas na ito. So definitely, kung gusto po natin ma-rebuild ang Marawi kaagad-agad, kailangan maprotektahan natin ang ating mga sundalo, hindi lamang po yung mga nagpo-construct doon, yung mga iba't ibang contractors na tatayo ng mga gusali at papagandahin ulit ang Marawi. So, I'm in favor of the extension and I feel that it's necessary. I think 5 additional months is more than enough. At the same time, it's sufficient enough to be able to weed out these armed elements. Alam mo, kailangan pa nito ng clearing operations at paghahabol ng mga terorista. So in 60 days, parang feeling ko bitin eh. Feeling ko after 60 days, babalik ulit si Presidente sa amin at hihingi po siya ng extension. So actually, my suggestion in the dinner was 6 months. And then sabi nila, hindi, 60 days, okay na. Tuloy, tignan mo 5 months din pala. So, tama pala ako.
So, do you think it should be over the whole Mindanao pa rin? O Marawi? O Lanao na lang?
Well, if you notice what happened this morning, na-ambush yung PSG sa Davao, Bukidnon boundary, far from Marawi. So, again, kaming peace-loving citizens of Mindanao, sawang-sawa na kami sa mga armadong enkwentro.
So, do you think madali ma-approve sabay ang joint session?
Well, they have my vote. I guess look for the others, but definitely in the joint session kasi we vote jointly as one. So kung overwhelming ang support ng Kongreso, medyo wala din kami magagawa.
I want to know kung ano talaga nangyayari on the ground. Ano yung reasons for the request for the date. I think the official request is until December, pero gusto rin natin malaman ano yung facing nito, ano yung kailangan pang gawin ng ating AFP para masugpo yung mga problema sa Marawi at sa Lanao del Sur. We want to see also if the problem has spread throughout Mindanao or contained siya dun sa initial areas.
5 months okay?
This is what we want to find out. Gusto nating malaman ano ba yung rason kung bakit ito yung hinihingi nilang time frame.
Pero ngayon pa lang sinasabi na ni Soto na madali naman sana mapalawig ang martial law, pero baka mauwi daw sa mahabang debate sa joint session kapag iginiit na 5 buwan ang extension. Pero para kay Senador Ping Lacson, anuman daw ang gusto ng Pangulong haba ng extension ng martial law, ang Kongreso pa rin ang may kapangyarihan na magdesisyon kung gaano kahaba ito. Si Senador Antonio Trillanes kinontra ang martial law extension, lalo't sinabi na raw ng AFP na 6 na po na lang ang mauti members sa Marawi. Patunay lamang daw ito ng tendency ni Duterte na maging diktador. Tanong naman ni Senador Risa Ontiveros, bakit kailangang magmadali sa extension?
At wag pong mamadaliin ng administrasyon ang joint session na ito. Ang paghingi po ng extension ay hindi parang fast food restaurant. Kailangan po bigyan ng sapat, mahaba, malalim, matalas na diskusyon sa mga isyung ito, lalong-lalo na sa longer-term na implikasyon.
Security officials are set to brief senators on latest developments in Marawi City tomorrow. This will be the second security briefing for members of the upper chamber. Last May 29th, the Senate and some national security officials had a closed-door meeting to discuss President Duterte's declaration of martial law in Mindanao and the suspension of the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus. Tomorrow's briefing is for the extension of martial rule in the region. And as Joy Gumatay reports, many senators will support the president's request.
Majority of the senators is expected to support the proposed extension of the initial martial law declaration for the whole Mindanao, even before a joint gathering of Congress is called into session this weekend. Senate President Aquilino Coco Pimentel III said they're just waiting for the formal request letter from the Office of the President before finally delving into the sensitive aspects of the declaration.
Confident ako na the request for extension of martial law will be approved, that it still be over entire Mindanao, that will be approved. Ngayon yung period, let us wait for the letter.
Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri is also affirmative the 17 senators who voted in favor of Proclamation 216 will more likely give a go signal for martial law extension, all for the elimination of rebellion and for the successful conduct of rehabilitation initiatives thereafter. Senate Majority Floor Leader Senator Vicente Soto III expressed fears on what may happen in Marawi City if ever rebellion persists with a termination of Proclamation 216 this Saturday. Hence, he undoubtedly supports the extension of martial law, more importantly for the safety and security of the civilians. Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, on the other hand, is hopeful the second security briefing to be led by the Department of National Defense and Armed Forces of the Philippines will be a step forward in ultimately deciding whether or not to support the planned extension.
Ako personally, I saw some of the propaganda. It's exactly the same as ISIS in the Middle East, no? In Iraq and in Syria. So definitely there's a connection. Established that there's connection between Maute and ISIS in the Middle East.
And even with their lesser power as the minority, Senator Riz Ontiveros assures their voice will be heard and factor into the discussions on martial law extension that she believes poses a major threat to human rights.
Talagang i-insist namin sa minority na bigyan ng sapat na panahon ang pagtalakay na iyan. At kung hindi kaya sa maghapong talakayan, which is very possible, mag-i-insist po kami ng further session.
Joy Gumatay, for the Nation.
I said 60 days. I go on the side of due diligence, but I would have to ask them why they would do that. Tama rin ang presidente na binibigyan natin ng deadline sila. And under the Constitution, we can extend it, lengthen it or shorten it. And then they give a 60-day period. And then really let them explain why it should be extended. The reason why I say 60 days is para matapos yung martial law. Or baka kailanganin pa yung martial law pagka aayusin mo na yung bayan. Siyempre maraming lupado, nag-claim, kailangan mabilis ang action dyan para hindi matatagalan yung trabaho ng gobyerno, may mga PTRO, pagkagawin na yung mga bagong development doon, yung kalsada, lalaparan, yung mga nasa seashore, ayusin. So you may need a certain amount of powers para mabigla at madala ng mga mamamayang Pilipino doon na mabilis magagawa yung kanilang kaginhawaan. That's very important. We're not just talking about a war situation all the way. We're talking about a peaceful situation. We're headed for peace.
Nabalitaan na po namin na sumulat po pala sa inyo si Pangulong Duterte para sa pagpapalawig nitong martial law sa Mindanao hanggang December 31. Pakikwento nga po sa amin ano pa yung naging laman niyang sulat na yan.
Teka muna kasi I'm still on the way to the office now. But I will tell you what he told me last night.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. When I asked him what's the period, what's his preferred period, sabi niya 60 days. So, but of course the official request is the one in writing. So I will go over the letter once I arrive in the office.
Pero kung sakasakali po, Senator Pimentel, kung ito nga po yung kahilingan ng Pangulo kasi inanunsyo po yan sa Malacanang kanina hanggang December 31, 2017 dahil ang dahilan daw po ay the existing rebellion in Mindanao will not be quelled completely. Yan daw po ang sabi ng Pangulong Duterte. Pabor po ba kayo na paabutin yan more than 5 months pa po hanggang December 31?
Under the Constitution, there is no more time limit as far as the extension is concerned. Congress will have to use its discretion or wisdom on the issue. So, when we hold our joint session this Saturday, we will of course ask for a briefing from the martial law administrator. We will go over their first report on what were the objectives why martial law was declared. And then tignan natin what time they would need so that the objective when martial law was first declared would be achieved. Yun po yung mission natin.
Okay, pero yung balikan ko lang po yung sinabi nyo kanina. So pag sakali pong mag-convene na kayo for the special session on Saturday, according to the Constitution, this time wala na po yung katulad ng naon ng declaration na 60-day limit na sinasabi po sa batas. So ngayon, pwede pong magdesisyon ang Kongreso kung gaano katagal na po ipapatupad ang martial law sa Mindanao. Ganun po ba?
That's correct. That is my understanding of the wording of the Constitution. However, if the President is requesting for a period, for a certain period of time, then we should give weight to the period of time requested by the President because he's the one declaring he is the one who declared martial law and he's the one asking for its extension. So we give weight to the period of time in case there is such a period being requested by the President.
Pero yung sa sense po ba ng pag-uusap nyo kagabi, tingin nyo po ba yung pananalita po ng Pangulong Duterte ay hindi niya po ba nakikita na matatapos na itong kaguluhan sa Mindanao? Kasi sinabi nyo ang preferred period ay 60 days. Ano po ba yung mga binring up niyang concerns kagabi tungkol dito sa kaganapan sa Mindanao, sa kaguluhan sa Mindanao?
Yun lang po yun, na 95 na ngayon namamatay sa armed forces, siya'y nalulungkot tungkol dito. And of course, ang mga civilian din na namatay, nasugatan, naapektuhan, nakakalungkot itong pangyayari. But sabi niya, we have to do this kasi nga meron na rebellion in Marawi City. So, pagdating po sa Marawi City, to clear up the city, to make it safe for the return of the residents, konting panahon na lang ang kailangan. But then, remember that the President declared martial law last May 23 on the theory that armed groups all over Mindanao were already coming together to launch a rebellion, which they launched in Marawi City. So, and then meron yatang, and I think he mentioned an incident in Zamboanga del Norte yesterday. So, meron ganon. So, this can all be considered as related to the rebellion being waged by not only the Maute group but by a network of armed groups in Mindanao.
Okay, pero kanina po, on the basis of yung parang 60-day extension na sinabing preferred period na hiniling ng Pangulong Duterte, nakausap na rin namin earlier sina Senator Tito Soto, Senator Zubiri, and they were saying na mukhang majority po ng mga senador ay papayag dito, but the Congress will be voting jointly on Saturday if ever. Ano pong tingin nyo yung magiging takbo? Kumpiyansa rin po ba kayo na may mayorya po na susuporta dito sa panukala ng Pangulo na i-extend hanggang December 31?
Doon sa extension, kumpiyansa ako doon. Siguro may konting debate tayo sa period. And then, ito para klaro, no? Ang extension will be over the same area. It's still also all over Mindanao. So, pagdating sa paghingi ng extension, kumpiyansa ako na supermajority ang mag-a-agree dyan. Pagdating sa coverage ng Mindanao, I think supermajority din ang mag-a-agree dyan. So, ang siguro kakain lang ng oras sa joint session would be how long should the extension be?
Yung sinasabi nga na either 60 days or yung baka paabutin pa po ng December 31.
Pero if the formal request mentions December 31, 2017, yun po i-consider natin kasi bibigyan natin ng weight yun. I-disregard ko na lang yung verbal ko na narinig kagabi na 60 days.
So as far as you're concerned, susunod po kayo doon sa naging recommendation ni Pangulong Duterte. Tingin niyo po ba may mga ibang sources naman siya aside from AFP, PNP kung saan naging basehan po nitong kanyang rekomendasyon?
Well, hindi naman required sa batas. Ang requirement na batas, basta Presidente ang nag-declare ng martial law, Presidente ang hihingi ng extension, definitely, nung May 23, pinag-aralan na nilang mabuti yan. At saka meron silang objectives doon, which is to quell the rebellion. So, after close to 60 days, dapat alam na niya ngayon kung how much more time he needs to quell the rebellion. Yun ang purpose, to quell the rebellion in Mindanao, particularly in Marawi City.
Okay, tama po ba, Senator Pimentel, na you will be having a briefing tomorrow po? Bukas po ba ang briefing niya from the AFP?
Yes, ito po yung security briefing na periodic security briefing kasi yung request namin noon eh. So, independent ito sa extension of martial law. Siyempre, we would want to know what has been happening with martial law in Mindanao. Pero nagkataon lang na hiningi na namin itong security briefing last week pa, and then last night nalaman na namin na hihingi pa na talaga ng extension. So magiging useful na rin or helpful yung information which we will get tomorrow, which we can now use on Saturdays.
Okay, maraming salamat kay Senate President Coco Pimentel.